Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. This is your one-stop go-to place for getting you from feeling drained, exhausted, and unfulfilled in motherhood to feeling more energized, organized, and accomplished. That's the vision I continue to navigate towards, and that's the vision we are sharing with you, focusing on holistic alternatives and restructuring your mind, body, and soul from the inside out. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a wife, mom of two, mechanical engineer, VBAC mom, and doula, serving mamas through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. If you're here for this, if you're as pumped up as I am and searching for that fire that you know is deep inside of you, then let's go. Let's uncover what it truly means to enter motherhood. You are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hey mamas, how are you? I'm so excited to be here with you and get this conversation started. And up until this point, every other episode has been me being an engineer. In the intro, I talk about being a mechanical engineer. I've talked about it in a few other episodes. If you know me personally, you know that that has been my background, my journey, my career after college, and even, in high school. That was the choice that I had made before selecting my college and everything like that. And since becoming a mom, things have changed and adjusted and shifted, and my perspective has shifted, my priorities have shifted, my personality has shifted, to a slight degree, but so much has changed in such a short amount of time. This podcast had started. I never thought that I would be talking publicly as much as I do about my journey and my experience and sharing all with you. And now here I am, home full time with the kids and working full time as a doula. I currently do birth and postpartum. I like to take about one birth a month so that, I'm fully dedicated to that birth and able to be there whenever it might happen. And then for my postpartum clients, I really like being there as much as I can and help the families get some sleep. I do overnight postpartum shifts, and it has literally just evolved to what it is today. A year ago, 6 months ago, I would have never imagined that I would have had the opportunity to leave my engineering job and pursue this full time, and to be able to feel like I'm not working because I'm doing something that I'm truly passionate about, that I really love doing, and that I really feel called to do. So in this episode today, I'm going to kind of go through what my journey has sort of been like over the past 5 years and how I have really been able to get to this point and to explore different alternatives and different career decisions and options and choices, because I think a lot of the times we just get, I don't want to say stuck, but we get in this cycle, in this loop of, well, this is what I do. I don't know what else I would do. And you wake up and you go to your job and you do what you do every day, and you go home and you get time with your kids and your family, and then you go to bed and you wake up and you do it all over again. And while my day-to-day, it's only been 3 weeks in this new lifestyle, my day-to-day roughly looks relatively the same. I get to choose what it looks like. I get to actively make choices with my children of, are we going to the zoo or the library or the park or the play space? What are we doing? And I really get to be involved in their day-to-day activities and what they're doing. And I get to see them and their expressions on their faces and the silly personalities that they have. And this is going to be the first summer that Rosie has before going into a public school. We are choosing for her to go to public school and to start kindergarten this fall. And I want to be able to explore summers with her from now on. And Isaac will be staying home with me until he's ready to start kindergarten, which will probably be about another 3 years. And if we have any more children, we have been trying for a while now. This has been the longest that we have been trying. But if we have the opportunity to have more children, we're definitely going to go for that and be there. So it really has become something that I had only thought of, dreamed of, and it happened very quickly and rapidly. So I'm currently in the transition still of working out when I'm recording episodes, when I'm creating content, when I'm looking for more clients, how I'm doing that, when I'm networking, when I'm meeting up with other people in the area, when I'm collaborating. And, like I said, all the different activities that I'm planning on doing with our children, and they are not in daycare anymore. They are home full time here with me. And like I said, right now I'm currently doing overnights 5 days a week, and that will continue. I have births from now until the end of the year already booked out, which I'm super excited about. And I'm hoping for that momentum to continue to move forward. So if you are listening to this because you also feel like maybe the career that you have right now just doesn't align with you anymore because you entered motherhood and your priorities shifted and your preferences shifted and your personality shifted a little bit, and you're no longer the same person in your career as you used to be. And, for me, that looked like I don't want to hustle anymore. I don't want to climb that corporate ladder. I don't want to worry about projects and deadlines that have to do with things that I'm no longer passionate about. I really wanted to find something that lit me up and made it worth my time to step away from my children and dedicate to pursuing. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Before, work was work, and I did work, and then I had my after work time and my freedom, and I could do what I wanted and pursue different hobbies and activities and things like that. But I wasn't distracted or had my mind constantly racing about, I'd rather just be here, I'd rather do there. I was able to dedicate fully to my job and knock out my work, and it served a purpose and it had a meaning. And then when I had children, I just wanted to be with them when I was at work, and I wanted to be a good enough employee that I kept that job, that I was able to provide for my children like I have been. And it wasn't registering or even comprehensible that I could still gain an income by pursuing something that aligned more with where I was in my life now. And that being more mother-centered and really just getting into the works of discovering who we are as we enter motherhood and what that looks like, and the conversations that surround that, and how we can be more open and available so that people don't feel alone, and that they can have conversations and reach out and have a resource or know of a resource that if they feel like they are in a situation, they can find the solution or find that resource that is going to be able to get them on the trajectory that they are looking for. And I think that's a lot of what I was lacking. I think it's a lot of this, like, you don't know what you don't know, and how are you supposed to know this information? Where are we learning this information? how are we birthing our babies? How are we healing postpartum? How are we caring for our babies? All of these different things that maybe traditionally have been passed down generation to generation, but now either we're no longer aligning with previous generations, or we don't have that direct connection to a previous generation, or we're really just looking to pursue something on our own, and something that maybe nobody in our family ever did or had or is familiar with. So we're trying to figure out, like, how do we find a guide in these kinds of practices and behaviors and ways of life? And we're honestly looking into online resources and the internet and what's out there. And while it can be super, super helpful when you do find a resource that is great for you, it also can be very confusing and misleading and overwhelming because there are so many different options out there. So that is where I really felt called to. And so I think, step one in really kind of like making that transition or trying to find a change in your career is really looking for something that could be more aligned with the values that you have, the passions that you have, the hobbies that you have, all the things that you like doing and love doing. And you say, like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if I could get paid for this? Or wouldn't it be great if I could always work with this kind of people? Really starting to explore what that might look like. And then trying to figure out what other careers or positions really align with that. So I had gotten a certification in postpartum nutrition. I got full perinatal nutrition. I really felt called to go deeper with nutrition because that's what I felt was healing and helping me greatly in the postpartum period, and then continuing to use that throughout my next pregnancy and really just birth even. There's so much that goes into the food that we eat, and I really felt aligned and enjoyed learning about that. So I had gotten certified in that, and then specifically as a VBAC doula as well, on top of being a doula, because I wanted to specialize in VBACs, and I was preparing for my own. Rosie, our first, was born via a cesarean, and then Isaac was a completely unmedicated VBAC. And so for me, I really wanted to get those certifications and learn more about those topics so that I can better help people in those sort of situations. And so I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. I have been podcasting since 2021. And so that's really where it started. I just felt like maybe I was going to blog and podcast and have a social media and really kind of go that route. And I just kept on wanting to do more. And I thought maybe coaching or kind of going down that avenue, and really just exploring many different options. And I think, until you try it, you don't know if you like it or not. So I always have stuck with my engineering job, and then I pursued all these different side avenues. I hosted a couple of events and just different gatherings for moms. I reached out to different people in the area and I listened to their stories. I, interviewed so many different people and heard what they were doing and how they were operating and what they were pursuing. And so from there, I really just felt like doula work was the cherry on top and the really awesome thing that I felt the most joy from. There's nothing that gets me more excited to jump out of bed when I get a call in the middle of the night to go to a birth. There is nothing I love more than seeing a new family be formed, seeing babies be born, and just holding babies and being with them and hearing the appreciation from parents of the work that I do and the knowledge that I have. I feel like being a mom has come very natural to me, and I just have a gift for getting babies to go to bed and feedings and burpings. And, I don't mind changing diapers and cleaning bottles and things like that. I have a lot of patience and a lot of compassion and a lot of energy that I love just pouring into my clients and giving them. So once I found that position, that job that really clicked, that I have been so excited about, I knew I wanted to continue to pursue that further. And so that really led, like I said, getting more certifications and becoming more confident, and then seeking the work. I think a lot of the times, while certifications aren't necessary and you can really just start right away, it does help us feel more confident and feel more prepared when gaining clients and finding clients. We feel like we have a little bit more of a roadmap of how things are going to go and what it's going to look like and how we can support them. And we feel a little bit more knowledgeable than our basic understanding of some of these things. So looking into, what other people in that career are doing and how they got there, and speaking directly with them and figuring out, what they did and what their path was like, how long of a journey it was, and really just kind of like understanding what your roadmap might look like, and where you can kind of just get started, because I really feel like it's a lot of just baby steps along the way. It's a lot of just starting here and starting there, and things just don't happen overnight. And like I said, even this happened very quickly and rapidly. I did not think that I would be leaving my engineering job quite as quickly as I have, but I think sometimes too, you just have to make that jump, and you have to be willing to make the transition when you don't fully have all of the pieces in place, because it opens you up to being able to receive more and find time to cultivate more moving forward. So I had only been expecting to have a few births and a few nights postpartum. And as soon as I put in my 2 weeks and made the transition, and I committed to saying this is the direction that I want it to go in, I booked out almost for the rest of the year. I gained 3 more nights postpartum, and it just all really clicked. And everything came together. And while, like I said, it's still a very active journey, it's still something that I'm learning about, having your own business, making your own hours, needing to find your own clients. It's something that I'm truly excited about, and I feel with full confidence that it's going to work out, because I feel like this is the most aligned path for me at this time. And so making that decision for what you want to go for, figuring out what you need to do, whether it be, going back to school, if, you're in one career and you want to transition into a different career and it requires a certain degree, maybe you want to go into a certain type of nursing, or maybe you want to be an engineer. That's always something that you thought you wanted to do and you just haven't pursued it now. And now you feel super lit up to chase your dreams, because you want to be able to tell your children that they can chase their dreams and that they can do anything that they set their heart's desire to. So you want to be that example, and you want to show them that it's possible. So you now are pursuing this other career, whatever it might be. Just start going down that path, start figuring out how you need to make it possible. And then, if you're going to be working for a company or whatever it might be, then they might be finding work for you and clients for you and things like that. Maybe you want to go to real estate and you start working in a group of realtors first before venturing off on your own. Or, you are in a service-based business, or you're making products or whatever it might be, and now you need to seek clients. Maybe you need to go to a market and sell your product. Maybe you need to hand out flyers or give out samples of your product, or you're a food-based business and you make soup or something, and you just start handing out all of these bowls of soup and passing them along so that other people can try it and hear from it, and word of mouth can go so far. And so really just making yourself available, making yourself known, putting yourself out there, and really setting the intention of what it is that you want to be doing and who it is that you serve and what that looks like, having different offers and different products and everything like that. I think you need to define that, and you need to state what it is that you're seeking and put that intention out there for it to come back and really be intentional and be aligned. Because I think if you're just kind of, for example, doula work, if you're like, oh, like whatever birth comes my way, whatever clients are there, I'm for everybody and whatnot, I think you find yourself then not being as passionate and lit up as you could be. If you know for a fact that you don't want to do home birth, then you need to make that known, because if you feel uncomfortable in that situation, or if you don't want to do free births or whatever it might be, if you don't want to be in a hospital setting, if you only want to serve home births, you really need to make that known, because you're not giving your client the full passion and alignment that they then deserve. Because at least here in the upstate, in the Greenville area, we have a lot of doulas to choose from and a lot of different people to really serve you. And so if your selection is limited, then, it's a different story. But, and maybe you want to be, kind of like a jack of all trades and really just offering multiple different things until you find the ideal client that you like and you love. But I think just, putting it out there and really just kind of seeing what kind of clients you like and align with, and then booking out those clients, making products and whatever it might be that your new transition is evolving into, really just kind of basing it out and booking in advance and, pre-ordering whatever it might be maybe, and kind of setting yourself up on that path of what it might look like. And I remember, talking with somebody and saying, like, how do I know when it will be time to leave my job? And I think it's one of those things that, like, you never know when you're going to be ready, but making that choice to just go with it and see what happens is sometimes a really good kick in the butt and motivator. But I do think the balance of really kind of doing both and having it be a slower transition and jumping in with when you're ready is what worked out better for me, is what I feel like stops us from experiencing burnout or letdown or not true alignment. Like I said, if you're just kind of jumping in and grabbing whatever you can and making things that you don't like let's say you're an artist and you really want to do a certain type of artwork, and that you could easily just do some commission work and you can do what other people are suggesting. And while sometimes that might give you encouragement and you're really listening to your audience and you're saying, wow, this is what people need and what they want and what they're willing to pay for, so maybe I can create that kind of artwork and get business going, because that will at least put me on a in-between direction of I'm getting paid for doing my art, and it's really just kind of bringing in that income if that's something that's important to you. Or you can continue to wait it out until you find those real, true clients that are going to be wanting and needing the exact thing that you specifically want to work with. And this is my brand, this is my message, this is how I want to serve and how I want to create and what I want to give to the world. And so it might just be a longer process. And I think it's really just kind of figuring it all out and finding out what works best for you. and knowing that it is a journey and knowing that it's not a quick overnight kind of thing that happens. And I really feel like sometimes I have said, I really just want this to work out and I really want to be here and why am I stuck here? And I really had kind of like doubts of, is this ever going to happen? And I still catch myself sometimes saying, how am I going to continuously get clients? And how am I going to keep on building out my business? And what is it going to look like in a few years? And where is it going to go? And things like that. Well, those things are still going on. I think it's, again, like one of those things, like you choose your heart. And would you rather be sitting where you are right now, not feeling aligned and feeling like you're not living out your dream or doing what you're passionate about or pursuing something that you might find more fulfillment from? Or would you rather worry about just how am I going to get more of it, or how is it going to stay? Or maybe it just ends up working out better than you ever thought possible. So I'm excited for this new journey. I'm really passionate about this, and I'm really ready to expand more in my business and really drop into it with more purpose and explore all the different avenues. And I want to continue to make podcast episodes. Like I said before, I have a lot of pre-recorded episodes, interviews with other individuals that I'm really excited to bring you. And there's other things that are going to be going on with the business and some collaborations in the process. And I'm just really excited to see where things go. And I'm so grateful that I have been able to open up this opportunity and really spend time with my family more and be with my children more and see what is all to come. And I will say, in office moms, out of the house working moms, in the house working moms, whatever you might call it, or all the different types of varieties and options and things like that, I have definitely, even though it's been a short amount of time, already found different things, like in general, just getting out of the house is so much harder now because we want the slow mornings and we're relaxing, and then the kids want to, do stuff at home and they don't want to get out of their jammies, and, just kind of motivating them to do different things. And I went really hard the first week of going to the zoo and going to the library and going to the park and going to the play. Like, we did all of the things. And we also just recently got a lake house. And so going out to the lake house and, setting up things there and doing little things there, it has just been a very full life. And I have already had, for example, this morning, Isaac got yogurt on his back. I don't know how that happened. He was eating a little cup of yogurt and I went to go check on him and it was all over his back. So it's really just kind of, exploring that stuff. Rosie has been, digging into all of her goodies and loving being home, and she's understanding that it's summer. We're doing little lessons to prepare her for kindergarten, just little workbooks and, drawings and things and stuff. And she's making different crafts and trying different activities, and it has just been so much fun and so much of a transition. And like I said, right now the priority is really figuring out a schedule that incorporates all of this so that I can stay on top of the podcast, that I can be reaching out and seeking new clients, so I can be nurturing and filling my own cup so that I can be there for my current clients and be there for my family and, still continue to make home cooked meals and do all the laundry and do all the dishes and figure out what that looks like now that I'm not in that realm of 9 to 5 with my engineering job and the children are out of daycare. I hope this helps. I hope this encourages you that if you have something on your heart, if you are in the process of pursuing a different career transition after entering motherhood, or you really just feel like there's a little bit of spark or a little bit of what else is out there and you feel like you're made for more and that more is possible, then I hope this is a little bit of encouragement. And I encourage you to continue to listen to these episodes because I will definitely be sharing my journey more. I think I'm a little unique and a little different because some people already have that perfectly tied up bow image of, they've been in the online business for 10 years and now they're sharing, how they got there and how you can get there and things like that. Like, I am very much in the thick of it. I have been having the idea brewing for over 5 years, but it really is such a new stage. I literally just made the transition to full-time doula. And so I'm being real and authentic and honest with where I'm at and what that looks like. And I am just encouraging you to really fully live your life and do the things that you're passionate about, all while being a mom. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would love it if you shared it with a friend or a family member or somebody who is in motherhood, who is seeking more and just wondering, am I in the right career? Maybe you even just need to re-ask yourself, what is it about this that made me originally want to go into it? And why am I not feeling as fulfilled or passionate about it? Can I get a different position somewhere or tweak things a little bit? And really just kind of uncovering what that looks like for you. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm not sure when the next episode will be, but I will be working on editing episodes and getting new episodes out to you as soon as possible and when I can, because I seriously love doing this. This is one thing that I want to keep on my plate and continue to explore and provide for you. And I hope that you, like I said, share this with somebody and continue to listen to past episodes. If this is the first time you're listening into the podcast, just go back and look at all the different individuals that are making such a difference and really feeling so fulfilled and passionate about what they do. So see you later, mamas. Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.